The most important issue is concerned with the problem of funding. Social services receive different donations or grants from the government. However, these sums are not sufficient for the solution of all problems. The second most important issue consists in the huge spending. The money social services achieve is not enough for normal functioning. The third problem affecting human services is the lack of skilled and experienced employees. The asteroid that slammed into the moon 3.8 billion years ago, creating the Iberian Basin, may have had a diameter of at least 150 miles, according to a new estimate. The work helps explain puzzling geological features on the moon's near side and has implications for understanding the evolution of the early solar system. For any marketing course that requires development of marketing plan, such as marketing management, marketing strategy, and segmentation support marketing, this is the only planning handbook that guides students through the step-by-step creation of customized marketing plan, while offering commercial software to aid in the process. As we progress into the 21st century, communications are becoming faster and faster and faster. Think of the millions of different media images you are bombarded with every day. It is as important now to be able to read and make sense of those images as it has been to be able to read ordinary text. Electronic discourse is one form of interactive electronic communication. In this study, we reserve the term for a two-directional text in which one person using a keyboard writes language that appears on a sender's monitor and is transmitted to the monitor of a recipient who responds by keyboard. Although it hails from a remote region of the western Himalayas, this plant now looks entirely at home on the banks of English rivers. Brought to the UK in 1839, it quickly escaped colonized river banks and damp wetlands. Now it is spreading across Europe, New Zealand, and Canada. In the Himalayas, the plant is held in check by various pests, but take these away and it grows and reproduces unhindered.
Students must observe lab safety regulations at all times.
All the assignments are based on class discussion.
Student services provide help with housing and transport. Sport is the cause of traumatic brain injuries in the United States. She is an expert of the 18th century French literature.
There are lots of people competing for the places in computer courses.
The image describes a pie chart about U.S. homelessness by race or ethnicity. It also provides information about different aspects of U.S. urban institute such as 1996. It is clear from the image that Native American and Hispanic are important. The image also mentions that Black and white non-Hispanic are significant. After analyzing this image, it can be concluded that it shows crucial information about 39, 7, 10, and 40% supported by facts and figures. The image describes a pie chart about San Diego County. It also provides information about different aspects of the California such as worldwide. It is clear from the image that residential and industry are important. The image also mentions that agriculture 69% and industry 33% are significant. After analyzing this image,
It can be concluded that it shows crucial information about different colors such as green and blue supported by facts and figures. The image describes tourists to Australia in 2006. It also provides information about different aspects of country of origin of visitors such as Italy, China, United States of America, United Kingdom, Canada and New Zealand. It is clear from the image that number of visitors and average length of stay are important. The image also mentions that Italy with 42 value and China with 308,452 value are significant. After analyzing this image, it can be concluded that it shows crucial information about New Zealand with 14 value supported by facts and figures.
The image describes map of Singapore. It also provides information about different aspects of the Asian countries such as Malaysia and Indonesia. It is clear from the image that Asian countries and islands are important. The image also mentions that distances between 0 and 20 kilometers are significant. In this picture green, gray and blue are shown as the most important colors. After analyzing this image, it can be concluded that it shows crucial information about Singapore and Malaysia supported by facts and figures. The image describes top 10 emerging markets from 2012 to 2017. It also provides information about different aspects of the Global Intelligence Alliance such as business perspectives on emerging markets from 2012 to 2017. It is clear from the image that countries like Brazil and India are important. The image also mentions that China and Russia are significant regions. In this picture, gray and green are shown as the most important colors. After analyzing this image, it can be concluded that it shows crucial information about percentage of emerging markets in the world supported by facts and figures.
Our friends at the Highlands Museum and Discovery Center in Ashland, Kentucky, asked a very good question. Why is it dark in space? That question is not as simple as it may sound. You might think that space appears dark at night because that is when our side of Earth faces away from the sun as our planet rotates on its axis every 24 hours. But what about all those other far-away suns that appear as stars in the night sky? Our own Milky Way galaxy contains over 200 billion stars, and the entire universe probably contains over 100 billion galaxies. You might suppose that many stars would light up the night like daytime. Until the 20th century, astronomers didn't think it was even possible to count all the stars in the universe. They thought the universe went on forever. In other words, they thought the universe was infinite. Besides being very hard to imagine, the trouble with an infinite universe is that no matter where you look in the night sky, you should see a star. Stars should overlap each other in the sky like tree trunks in the middle of a very thick forest. But, if this were the case, the sky would be blazing with light. This problem greatly troubled astronomers and became known as Olbers' paradox. A paradox is a statement that seems to disagree with itself. To try to explain the paradox, some 19th century scientists thought that dust clouds between the stars must be absorbing a lot of the starlight so it wouldn't shine through to us. But later scientists realized that the dust itself would absorb so much energy from the starlight that eventually it would glow as hot and bright as the stars themselves. Astronomers now realize that the universe is not infinite. A finite universe, that is, a universe of limited size, even one with trillions and trillions of stars, just wouldn't have enough stars to light up all of space.
In this study, we should talk about a new kind of remote monitoring technology called underwater Antares detectors. These detectors can be used to observe the environment change and water temperature change. More importantly, these detectors are installed underwater to monitor fish's reaction to the feeding. By putting a camera into the cage and then putting the cage into the water, people can observe the fish's reaction to feed so that it can help people to observe fish reactions without being physically there. This makes it possible for people to change their feeding strategy quickly when fish do not react to the feeding. The technology can also identify the water quality.
separation of pups from their mothers, this is rat or mouse pups, at early in life, for brief periods of time, like 10 minutes a day during the first 2 weeks before the eyes open, leads to a more laid-back personality, if you will. And other studies have shown by people like Michael Meany and so on have shown that this can, and Robert Sapolsky, I should add, these animals age more slowly. They have a longer lifespan in general. So a mother who has and that the mediator of these handling effects that Levine and Denneberg originally found is actually the amount of maternal care that the mother pays attention to, how much licking and grooming occurs. And the more licking and grooming, according to the Michael Meany view, the more laid back the animals will be, the longer the life they will have, the more perhaps cognitively sharp they will be. But you have to remember that that's in a safe environment. If it's in a dangerous environment, then having a more anxious personality, a more wary personality, may actually be better for survival. So it's very much dependent on the living environment, and you can easily extrapolate that to people.
The trade blocs of Latin America are in a moment of transition. Governments relying heavily on state intervention for economic control are beginning to align with Mercosur. On the other hand, right-wing governments favoring free trade economic regimes have united under the Pacific Alliance. The trading regimes reflect the key fundamental disagreements about economic development and political relationships in Latin America. The presidents of Brazil and Argentina met November 29th to discuss their complex bilateral relationship and the expansion of Mercosur, a customs union that the two have historically dominated both politically and economically. Venezuela joined the group this summer, and the possibility that Ecuador and Bolivia will join as full members will be discussed at a December 7th Mercosur summit in Brasilia. The expansion of the customs union gives all countries involved beneficial access to each other's markets and opportunities for mutual investment, but it also poses some serious challenges. Mercosur requires its member countries to impose a common external tariff on goods from countries outside Mercosur. For a country like Venezuela, which is heavily reliant on foreign imports, widespread tariffs may mean that it will have to switch providers for a number of goods, and in some cases it may face a higher import bill. For a country that gets 40% of its imports from the United States, China, and Colombia, this is not a trivial challenge. But without that common external tariff, the countries already in Mercosur are worried that new members could be used by countries like China as a way to avoid the tariff regime altogether. From a political perspective, bringing Venezuela, Bolivia, and Ecuador under Mercosur institutionalizes the commonalities of the Latin American left. It also represents a significant strengthening of Brazil's influence in the region. Mercosur has historically served as a way for Brazil and Argentina to manage their inherently rivalrous geographic positions as major South American powers. With the expansion of Mercosur, the political logic behind Mercosur changes. Instead of a tool to manage a bilateral relationship, Mercosur appears to be evolving into a multilateral negotiation tool, tying together countries whose economic policies align more closely with the left and center-left of the political spectrum. In contrast, the Union of Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and Chile under the Pacific Alliance highlights a commitment to free trade policies by the majority of political elite in those countries. Designed to promote export-oriented, investment-friendly economies, these countries are betting on trade with Asia and high growth to address social challenges at home. Though all of these countries signaled their commitment to their respective free trade and protectionist policies years ago, the Latin America-oriented agreements serve a functional and symbolic purpose. These commitments bind future governments into relationships by linking economic interests to political agendas. In the process, the deep divide in Latin America that has been emerging for years has begun to take more solid form.
If someone lives in an urban area, where does he live?
What is the economic sector that deals with farming?